Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I had to drive the energy up a little bit. Um, so this month we have been talking about a philosophy, a faith, and a way of living. The theme for the year is intentional living. So we've been talking about living intentionally from the power of intentional thought. Reverend Jill opened the year with that on the first week. The second week talked about expanding our awareness and our perception of what abundance is and what abundance can be for us in our lives. Then last week, Reverend Jill talked about creating really healthy, mentally healthy, spiritually healthy practices in our lives and what that looks like. And so today, my job is kind of tie all that together and really look at how we can be intentional about the creative process in our lives and what that looks like for us. How do we do that? How do we go about intentionally creating the kind of life we want to live? And how do we live a life? And how does that life feel for us? How does it feel for us? Because really, in the end, it's not necessarily the things and the conditions that surround us that we're looking for. It is how we want to feel as we wake up in the morning and go through the day, and how we want to feel at the end of the day when we put our heads on the pillow and go into that restoration process. So that we're not waking up in the middle of the night going, oh my gosh, did I pay that bill? I've had those nights. Or whatever is going on. What do we do to really intentionally create the kind of life we want to have? A life filled with joy, a life filled with love, with happiness, with good relationships, with good family relationships, with having the kind of vehicle we want to drive, the kind of house we want to live in. And what does that look like for you? What are the choices you get to make, I get to make, we get to make about how all that works? Because our experience of life inevitably rises up out of how we feel about the life itself, how we feel about ourselves, and what we believe to be true at our very core of our being. And if those thoughts, ideas, and beliefs are not really where we want them to be, if the conditions in my life are reflecting back to me and saying, hey, something's not right, how do I go about the process of looking inside and saying, what do I need to shift? What do I need to change? What are the weeds, so to speak, in the garden of my consciousness that need to be plucked up and thrown on the compost pile? Right? Ernest Holmes talks about this in The Basic Ideas of Science of Mind, which is the book we've been using this month. He says the special attribute of the special attribute of self-consciousness is that which gives us the power of choice. Of choice. This is certainly a supreme gift of God. It enables us to choose our own destiny, accepting divine wisdom and power in such ways that we can have that chosen destiny become our experience. We can have that chosen destiny become our experience. Ernest Holmes and many others since have talked about the creative process in terms of a garden. How many of you know this? The seed and the soil and all the stuff that comes with that. And most often we talk about, hey, when we're thinking and when we're believing and doing our spiritual mind treatment, our affirmative prayer, we are planting seeds in the soil, and the soil just knows what to do, and we get a plant, right? That's kind of most commonly the real simple version of that. Well, today we're going to take that to a deeper level. Because the first version is absolutely true. Our thoughts, our ideas are like seeds that we plant in the soil, and all that soil knows to do is to grow, is to take that seed and produce a plant in accord with what that seed says it is. And all the wisdom and knowledge and all the how-tos are in that seed, right? As long as we water it, right? We take care of it. We fertilize and take care of the soil. Everything it needs to become the plant is there. Because when we plant that seed on the little package, the little package says, this is broccoli, or this is kale, or this is a carrot. And we say, okay, carrot. We plant that. And we know we're going to get a carrot. We walk away, right? We walk away and we say, okay, I've planted a carrot seed. I'll water it. I'll remember that it's there. And I know that I will have a carrot. There's no doubt. Because the package said carrot seed, and it kind of looked like a carrot seed if you've seen one before. Maybe you haven't seen one before. What's interesting is that we sometimes forget that we need to take the time to prepare the soil. We need to take the time to go through that garden plot of our lives, right? And say, okay, what is it I need to do to prepare the soil, right? How many of you have had gardens and grown vegetables? Okay, so we know. We're all on the same page. But we need to take that garden plot, right? You take the rototiller or the shovel or whatever and turn the soil up. Pull out the weeds and clear that space and take care of it, right? So what is a weed to us in this metaphor, in this analogy? It's those ideas and thoughts that up until now we thought were okay, but maybe now they no longer serve us. That's one category. The next category are those thoughts we call fears, doubts, uncertainties, those ideas that we hold about ourselves and say, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I don't deserve the kind of life that I think I want. Maybe I don't deserve to be happy. Maybe I don't deserve to not fret, not worry, not doubt, not have anxiety. And we pull those up. Because in the beginning, right, when we first come into this world, I hold that garden plot is clear. Because that little baby, me as a little baby, comes in from wherever we come in from, still kind of remembering that, you know what? I'm divine. I know that I am more than this body, that this body is a reflection of me. I know that I come into the world knowing that I am loved, I am cared for, I am worthwhile, I am deserving, I am all these things. But slowly over time, life has, and I've accepted messages from life in some way, shape, or form that says, you know what, you're not enough. You know, you can't play baseball, you can't play basketball, so you're not okay. Or maybe you're not tall enough. Or maybe you're too skinny. So you're not okay. You can't be part of this crowd. You're not cool enough to be with the in crowd, so you go be with the other crowd over here where we say you're not enough. But over there, I'm okay. We've gotten all these messages. When the truth is, each of us comes in accord with the divine idea that says, this is who and what I am. And so I get to take the time in clearing my garden to remind myself, or clearing the garden plot, plucking the weeds and so on, taking the time to remind myself that I am okay. I am a divine idea within the mind of God. I am a manifest, individualized expression of love, light, and truth, and peace, and joy, and power, and abundance, and wholeness, and prosperity, and all these things. I am all of that. And if I have to remind myself of that 150, 200 times a day to get to where I want to go, then that's what I do. That's what I do. To clear that plot so that when I sit down to do my meditation, to do my prayer work, there's a certain sense of calm and stillness that I am operating within. And when I close my eyes, the little gerbil committee in the back of my head is not telling me about how it's not going to work. It's telling me about how it is going to work and how it is working. Because I've taken the time to reprogram them so that when I'm not otherwise occupied, they're having a conversation about how wonderful life is rather than how much trouble I think I'm in. You see, because who created that committee in the first place? Who assigned them? That's right. We did. So we get to program them with a new message. Wayne Dyer says this: everything that is created comes out of silence. Your thoughts emerge from the nothingness of silence. Your words come out of this void. Your very essence emerged from the emptiness. All creativity requires some stillness. Be still and know. Be still and know. That is the creative process in a nutshell. So what is it we are knowing? What is it we are knowing? Ernest Holmes agrees with Wayne Dyer and goes on to say this: when you are poised, calm, at peace, filled with happy expectancy, or it's vice versa probably. Wayne Dyer agrees with Ernest, because Ernest came first. When you are poised, calm, at peace, filled with happy expectancy, serenely trusting in the fulfillment of the higher good, you are ready to do your spiritual planting. Now, there is a bit of a paradox going on here. I'm sure some of you have already seen it. The paradox is, how do I get to the place where I'm feeling this poised, calm, serene, and at peace, when what I'm trying to do is heal the chaos in my life and I'm feeling all chaotic, but I'm not supposed to pray until I feel at peace? What? It works both ways. We do the affirmations. We take the time as we prepare to do our spiritual mind treatment, our affirmative prayer, to find a sense of peace and a sense of calm, to imagine within our minds and in our hearts a place where we are at peace, where we have a sense of joy. If we have to dig back into the files of our own memory and find a happy moment to grab a hold of, just like Peter Pan searching for his happy thought, we find that happy thought. And we grab hold of that and use that as the foundation that says, okay, from here I can move forward, because I want to have a happier life, a more peaceful life, a life where I am walking through the world and experiencing myself and other people and other places and other things I'm in my life, where I remember that we're all connected. where I remember that we are love and joy and peace and all these things. So we go into our spiritual mind treatment, we go into our prayer work where we say, God is all there is, and I am one with that. And everything that God is, I am. Therefore, when I walk in the world, I am the expression of God. I am the expression of Spirit, and everything that I say that it is, and I'm grateful for it. And then I get up and let it go, and I walk away. And we take the time to talk ourselves into a place where we feel the way we want to feel in the world, where we sense and trust and know that this is what I deserve. This is how I deserve to live. This is how I choose to be and to express. Because I've taken the time to weed my consciousness free of the thoughts and ideas that say, you know what, you're not, don't even bother me. Don't even try. We've taken the time to clear all that out and remind ourselves the divine idea of who and what we are. And that is the fertilizer of the soil the fertilizer of the soil in our consciousness that says yes to that seed that we have planted. We've taken the time to build that soil up. And the weeds help with that too, right? We don't just toss the weeds aside and throw them in the trash can, right? We throw them into the compost pile with everything else so that they can return to the soil. The essence of what they are returns to the soil and feeds that as well. Because it's been cleansed, it's been purified, it's been processed in that composting process, and we throw it back in. Because in the end, that's all spirit as well. That's all God as well. So about this point, you're like, Reverend Lee, what do I tell myself? What's the story I tell me about me? Give me something to work with here, Stephen. George. No. The papers, Stephen. You had an assignment. No, I got one. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Stephen, my adept assistant, is helping out this morning. This is my gift to you this morning. All of a sudden, I think it was last night, I remembered the last time I had a handout, somebody said, oh, I'm going to, like 3 or 4 of you were like, oh, I love the handouts. So here, we have a handout today. For those of you who took the Roots class, you've seen these before. These are the 5, I love these. And we're going to talk about these. The 5 universal affirmations, according to Emma Curtis Hopkins, who instructed all the leaders of the New Thought movement historically, the leaders of Divine Science, Unity, Ernest Holmes, founder of the science, religious science divine Center for Spiritual Living. They all went to her before they started their ministries. And these are the 5 universal affirmations. So, I tell you what, let's read them aloud together, and then we will go through them. Starting with, here we go. My good is my God. My God is life, truth, love, substance, intelligence, omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. In God I live and move and have my being. I am spirit, mind, wisdom, strength, wholeness. The I am works through me to will and to do that which ought to be done by me. I am governed by the law of God and cannot sin, fear sin, sickness, or death. Now, I know that last one can be a little charged for some folks, and we'll talk about that. We will get to that. So, these affirmations cover everything. They cover everything. And using these affirmations will help us to recenter and reground in the truth of who and what we are. Just take the first one, for example. My good is my God. My God is life, truth, love, substance, intelligence, omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. It is all-knowing everywhere, all-powerful. And the second, in God I live and move and have my being. And I add on, and it in me. Because if it's everywhere present, it is in me too. There's not a thing, a person, a place, anything outside of the power and presence of God. Because it is the source of all. And the other thing that these affirmations do, and the teaching, the Centers of Spiritual Living Science of Mind does, is help us just reframe that word God. Because when we say God, it is not some anthropomorphic being sitting on a chair somewhere passing judgment on everyone in the universe, is it? No. For us, it is a power and presence. It is a creative force within everything and everyone that desires only the expansion and expression of itself in terms of love and joy and peace and power and poise. And all it says to us, like the soil in our garden, is yes, grow, seed. Yes, grow. Let's go into the third. I am spirit, mind, wisdom, strength, wholeness. That is the truth of what I am. That is the truth of what you are. And we say these affirmations over and over and over and over in our minds and in our hearts until they just simply become part of who we are. And when those little doubts creep in, we go, no, 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 no. Emma said this. And when I say it out loud and in the quiet and stillness of my meditation, I know it's true. I feel it. I sense it. I embrace it. The I am, God, works through me, through you, to will and to do that which ought to be done by me. Now, we're like, what? Are we shooting on people? No, we don't shoot on our friends. We ought to. And when I read that word ought to, it means this is just naturally who you are. So get out of your own way. It's like the line from Emerson that we are to get our bloated nothingness out of the divine circuits. And what is that bloated nothingness? That bloated nothingness are those moments when I forget that I am spirit, mind, wisdom, strength, and wholeness. When I forget that it is the divine that is working through me to express itself in terms of all these good things, all these good qualities that allow me to feel and be and express the truth of who I am. And finally, this last one. So before I read it again, who knows what the real definition of the word sin is? Yes, ma'am?
Missing the mark.
To miss the mark. Somebody paid attention in class.
Archery.
It's an archery term, yes. It means to miss the bullseye, to miss the mark. So there, I just demystified and discharged that whole word for you. It's simply a mistake. I'm governed by the law of good. I cannot make a mistake. I cannot fear mistakes or sickness or death. Because I know that what? I am omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent because I am spirit itself expressing. The eternality of spirit is the essence of who I am. And so to go back to the beginning, the creative process, what is it we want to remember coming out of today, coming out of this month, where what we're talking about is a philosophy, a faith, and a way of living? What I would like you to remember is that you are, as I am, as everyone is, deserving of having a happy and joy-filled life. That we are, you are, each and every one of us is deserving of that good life. And we have the agency to make the changes necessary within ourselves to have that experience on a day in, day out basis. Am I willing to put in the work, the time and the effort to do the inner work to clear away, to weed the garden? And I'm here to tell you, I know it can get tiresome. I know it. I've had the experience. I've had the experience in the past with that thing called, that was a phrase we experienced. I think it's kind of, I first heard it during during COVID. This change fatigue, right? It's like, when's the growing going to stop? When is it enough? We have a community here of individuals, of people, all walks of life, all levels of experience in this teaching. People who will love and support and care for us. People who will cheer us on. People who will sit and listen to us. If what we need is somebody just to listen, and so we could just dump. We could just dump all the negativity, because sometimes it just takes being able to tell somebody and know that you're not going to be judged. And know that even in the midst of me dumping all my doubts and uncertainties and all my complaints about the way my life is right now, oh my God, I just got that! And somebody will listen to me and not judge me and not try to fix me. Will just sit and listen and love me in the midst of all that. There are people here that will do that for you, who will do that with you. Reverend Jill will do it with you. I will do it. Daniel with. There are others as well who will help us weed the garden. Nurture the soil and plant new seeds. You know what? This is the life I accept for me. This life I claim for me. This is the life that represents my heart's desire manifest in this world. We can do that. You get to choose that. And we have the community here where we will support each other in manifesting that, no matter where you are in the process. If you're brand new here the first day, or this is your 40th year, as long as we are on the planet and we haven't turned pink and ascended yet, there is stuff to do. There is stuff to do, and that's okay. That is okay. So now it's your turn. Questions, comments, including the folks online. I invite you to ask questions. You can type a question in the chat if you want to, and we will answer it. Anybody? Daniel?
So, how does meditation and being in stillness, how does that work for doing the healing that you talked about?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Good question. And I meant to spend a little more time on that. But time in meditation is time where we get to sit and experience ourselves without judgment. For me, even in the midst of the more chaotic periods in my life, sitting in meditation, though challenging in the chaotic times, allows me to sit and look at my own thought process, to quiet the committee, so to speak. For me, it's a practice. I imagine it like the thoughts that I really don't want to attach to, as like butterflies flying out a window. I'm sitting in a room, the butterflies are chattering in my head, and I just invite them to fly out the window and go exist elsewhere until I find that peaceful place. So the practice of meditation is a practice of learning to quiet the space and allowing myself to give attention to those thoughts and ideas and beliefs I want to nurture and to let the other ones go. All right. Thank you, Daniel. Good question. Anybody else?
Two things.
Yes, sir.
One is having been on this journey for a while with this group, which is awesome, supportive. Being a recovering Catholic, God is a charged word, and that has, over the time, really kind of neutralized. And I thank you for that.
Oh, good.
The other thing, the line where I'm spirit, mind, wisdom, strength, and wholeness. What is each of those words, or what is wholeness? And can you explain that?
Sure. So all those taken together, they are aspects of God or the infinite, right? Spirit, mind, wisdom, strength, wholeness. I am spirit, saying I am that this physical body, this physical world, my physical presence is a manifestation of something that is unseen, that has taken form in the seen. Okay? Is spirit take form? Mind, consciousness. It's that conscious directive thinking process that is part of the infinite and universal mind, right? My mind is an individualized point within a universal presence. And then wisdom as an expression of that, strength as an expression of that, and wholeness as an expression of that. Wholeness is me expressed as the fullness of that. So, okay, good. Thanks, Stephen. Anybody else? All right, let's go into practicing the principles. This is our practice for the week. So we ask ourselves these questions and go through them on a daily basis, or however often you want. What is the quality of the soil of your garden, of your consciousness, and how can it be improved? How is the weeding coming along? Because that weeding, right? That weeding doesn't stop, right? When I was living in Texas, we had a nice little size piece of property. We had an old horse corral. We couldn't have horses. We got zoned away, whatever. So I created this garden, and weeding that garden was a daily, if not, a daily effort. What are the seeds you are planting? And how is the watering and fertilizing going? The prayer, the meditation, the journaling, whatever your spiritual practice is, that is the watering and fertilizing. taking the time in meditation, taking the time to reaffirm who and what we are and declare our wholeness. That's the watering and fertilizing. So there you have it for the week. Cool. Awesome. So let's pray. Let's water the garden. And as we step into this moment, we do so with a sense of gratitude and joy. Remembering that indeed God is all there is, infinite and omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. That it is in this presence of love and joy and peace that we live and move and have our being, and it in us, as us, all around us at each and every moment. And we join together not just here in the space, but with our friends online and with anybody anywhere engaged in their spiritual practice, no matter what it is. We join with them as we remember and enjoy our journey together to remember and to reaffirm that indeed we are worthy of every good thing our hearts desire. And we affirm and declare and accept and celebrate our wholeness. We celebrate our prosperity. We are grateful for every good thing that is in our existence, in our presence, in our awareness, in our lives, all of it. For we know the Spirit is always sufficient unto itself, and we are that. We are this, more precisely. For Spirit is not only over there, it is right here, right now. For it is what we are. And so any thought, any doubt, any uncertainty, any anxiety is simply swept aside by the light of love and truth and joy right now. It flows through us, surrounds us, enfolds us, making plain and safe our way in each and every moment. We know that all is well, that life is good and very good, as and for each of us. We walk away from this place in gratitude this morning, celebrating life, celebrating each other. We're so very grateful for our community, our Scottsdale Center for Spiritual Living, knowing that it grows and expands in its reach, in its impact, in its influence. We're grateful for each other, grateful for this life, grateful for love, grateful for our awakening in this moment. And we let go and let it all slip away, knowing that these seeds are already planting, and that the wisdom and intelligence and knowingness is already in each seed, and that seed is sprouting and growing even now in our experience. And so we let it be, and so it is.